episode 3, food review, Bijou, and Westport. What do you have to say about yourself?
About myself, I'm amazing. But what were you trying to say?
More importantly, his outfit is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. He looks like he just went to church for the 3rd day in a row. And with that being said, we went to a fire-ass restaurant.
I agree.
The funny thing is, I didn't order him. Actually, I did.
You did.
He said, my debit card says different.
Right. That's fact.
So, Steve. Matter of fact, let's introduce ourselves. What's your name?
My name is Stevie B. Eaton, Steve Wilson, and I'm just happy to be here.
My name is CIZZ, aka Kyle Stutzer, and I'm just here, like Marshawn Lynch says, so I don't get fined. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Bijou. You might be like, what does that mean? Bijou?
Or Bijou.
I'm sick and tired of y'all correcting me, man.
But it's Bijou.
How's it Bijou?
Because that's what it's
So is my name Caillou now?
I'll call you that.
That works.
I call you a bunch of other stuff too, but
he sure
yes,
does.
it's Bijou, which is I think it's is it English? Because I know it means like small and like quaint.
We actually have a producer on deck today. Hey, can you look up what bijou means? Or small and elegant.
Thank you.
Kind of like my girlfriend.
Oh,
sweet. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we went to a new restaurant this week named Bijou, which means small and elegant. It's only been open for around 13 weeks, which I think translates to 3 months and a week, if I'm doing the weeks correct.
Look at you doing math.
Not even a full 2 quarters of the year, just a little over a quarter of a year. They've been opened. You know a little bit about the history of the owner, actually more than I do, which my job is to do the research, but you actually are the one who told me about like where they used to work and stuff like that. So can you give us a quick breakdown of the owner, and then we'll transition into our experience?
I can. I will do your job for you today.
Thank you.
So Bijou's owner, I had the chance to meet with him one time when I was in, and he worked out in California. He worked for, I believe it was Warner Brothers. He used to do like events and stuff for them. Yes. And then he's always wanted to own like a craft cocktail kind of restaurant. And then when he had the opportunity to move into, the space in Kansas City, he was able to create it. But the interesting thing about it was that not all of the, but some of the things, the components of the actual restaurant were contributed by his friends. So like the color, that's in there, one of his friends owns a paint company. So he chose the color of the paint, which is really nice. The picture that's behind the bar, was from one of his friends. Mm-hmm. And then one of his friends made even the check, what are those called? The check sleeves that they put your bill in.
Yes.
He has a leather shop. So he made those and doing that. And then one of his friends also said that he needed to really zhuzh, I'm gonna use that word, zhuzh it up and do like the gold accent thing. Because remember all the drink shakers and stuff were gold. The pens that you sign, your bill are in gold. So everything is very high class. You'll be seeing
that on the screen right now.
So then, there was a lot of his friends that contributed to it, which was great because it really all came together to become this really nice, quaint, and it is a smaller restaurant, but it is very, very well done, very elegant. Like, so, like our producer said, very bijou-ish.
Bijou-ish. And right now I'm kind of scrolling through some of the photos we have here, and it really is like a nice vibe. I don't know if it's supposed to be a French restaurant necessarily. That's what I thought, and that's what I've been telling people. But the energy gives me small French restaurant, in
Hmm.
my humble opinion. They do have a few random things in there that kind of throw you off, like a disco ball. They have like a disco ball in there, and we were there in the evening, but not like late enough in the evening
Yeah.
for it to be dark.
Right.
But how would you describe the audience or the crowd that was in there when we were leaving? When it started to get busy, like, would you say it's late 40s business professionals? Is it more couples? Is it more of a date night type of spot? Or is it more of like, I go here to grab a cocktail with a friend in a
Mhm.
business meeting? How would you describe it just off your feel? I'm sure it can cover all those bases,
Yeah.
but your general feel.
Well, I think that night it seemed like there were a lot of friends that were meeting there to, to get together. So, and it was a lot like a girls' evening where they would come there and have drinks and, because they had the small plates and things like that. But, and then but it was it had a very romantic kind of feel to it as well, which I can see where you're talking about the French kind of came in there. But it seemed like the audience that night was more uh, 40, 50-year-old couples and just, girls going out for a girls' night.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Definitely a vibe, and maybe a place that you could meet your wife or husband. You know, it might be that type of night. You drink a little bit of wine, and yeah. All right. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a cocktail type of spot, like he mentioned.
Yes, craft
So,
cocktail.
craft
Craft
cocktails. And
cocktails.
before we move forward on the topic of craft
Ooh,
cocktails,
actually, before you go that to talk about the friends even more, the cocktail menu was actually created by the gentleman
that's what I
that.
was gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. No, no,
go
no, no, no,
ahead.
no. But
No.
you was sounding pretty good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, was actually created by the gentleman that did the cocktails and owned Julep that was in Westport. So if you're familiar with Julep and you love those cocktails, then this is where you need to go because he actually created the cocktail menu.
Yes, and it kind of says it at the bottom of the menu, and that's the only reason why it kind of reminded me, like, oh yeah, he did say his friends were involved in this whole process because at the
Mhm.
bottom it's like, I don't know if it says like honors of or whatever. It shouts out his friend. So what I would like to know is what exactly is a cocktail for an ignorant individual like myself who even after the third restaurant we've been to where you've gotten a cocktail probably at each one of them, I still don't understand what it is. So, what is a cocktail? Why is the word craft in front of it? And why are craft cocktails looked at as bougie or bourgeois?
Oh, okay. It's a lot of questions that you just asked me.
I mean, based off your
So
outfit, you should have the answers.
so base, basic. I hate you and I hate your face. So basically, a cocktail is a drink. It's a mixed drink. But usually, when it comes to craft cocktails, they use a little bit of a higher quality, spirit or alcohol in it. Which could be like some bourbons, some different mixtures like a gin, whatever that may be. But they add some additional ingredients to it as well that aren't your traditional ingredients that you would see
Okay,
in a normal margarita.
right on. So, on the topic of drinks, what drink did you get? Let me pull up the photo of it so you kind of have a big screen vibe understanding of what you was sipping on
Big
over there.
screen.
Boom, big screen
Yes.
vibe.
So that one was the midsummer. Was the midsummer, and I have to bring it up because people were telling me that I needed to know what I was drinking and eating. So because of that,
And how to pronounce each thing that's in there as well. As you'll
well,
see, he's
that I
mastered
can't
that.
do.
He's mastered that.
That I can't do. So the midsummer had bourbon, Pneu de Charentais, hibiscus,
Darjeeling tea
Darjeeling tea, lemon, almond bitters,
and
aquafaba,
aquafaba. Is that an H?
faba,
Aquafa.
aquafaba.
That's an H.
That's not an H. That's a B.
Oh, yeah, that's a B. Aquafaba.
Aquafaba.
Does that just stand for water, but in a fancy way?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for looking that up.
No, you're good.
Um,
Aquafaba.
Aquafaba. Yeah. So it was very good. It was
It's
very
mainly made of chickpea water.
Say it again.
chickpea water.
It's mainly made of chickpea water.
Interesting.
How you feel about that?
So I drank it. So it actually clearly it was good. It was actually good. It was actually light, which is funny because it has bourbon in it, which is usually makes it a little bit of a heavier drink. But it was a very light drink, and it was the sweetest he said that was on the menu.
Okay.
And it was sweet. So it was very good.
Which I believe, if I'm correct, Darjeeling tea is supposed to be one of the. Well, I was over here about to try to act like I was a tea master. Never mind. Let me shut up. Anyways,
Hibiscus Darjeeling
talk
tea.
about the presentation. So we have the photo.
Yes.
We either just have the photo on the screen or have it on there now. But talk about the presentation. How do you feel about drinks that come with like flowers in it? Because I think it's a little awkward. I'm like, what if this flower is picked from like a dirty grass root?
So I actually enjoy flowers because there's a lot of drink flowers or cocktail flowers that are actually edible. They're actually edible flowers, which I think this was actually one of them. And I think we have a video of him actually serving it to me, which he was very good. Like I actually was able to record him, making the drink, and he did present it very nicely. And the last thing that he did, the pista de la resistance,
He lupine.
was the flour. So he dropped the flour in, and then he handed it to me, and I was like, you know what? I like this. It had the right amount of foam, and then the flour was on top. The presentation was very nice.
And I will say, Steve was very courageous and confident. Me personally, I don't like really videotaping in public, so I'm always trying to figure out the small way I can videotape, like low key, but with good enough quality for our food, reviews and such. But Steve, man, he grabbed his phone, he stood up in the middle of the aisle and had that mug right on, buddy, while he was making the cocktail. Just had it right on, buddy. And I thought he was only going to do it for 5 seconds. He was standing there for a good 30 seconds recording the whole process. And I was like, oh, okay. My man, courageous. He had bourbon before he walked in. But
and actually, there was a lady that was sitting next to me, and she moved over a little bit and said, "Thank you."
yeah, that's facts. So Steve out here confident. If you guys like that part of the video, which you'll see here shortly or have already seen, shout him out in the comment section.
I have two facts.
Yes.
The aquafaba was used to make the foamy substance.
Okay.
So sometimes it can be used from lagoon, but they kind of whip it. It resembles egg whites, so that was that. And the Darjeeling tea comes from India, and it's a black tea, but unlike most black tea, it has a sweeter taste, less bitter than others, and has a fruity aroma.
I was right, ladies and gentlemen. I was going down the right direction, but I didn't want to be incorrect because I've been learning from one of my other clients who has been teaching me like a Friday a month about teas. He's obsessed with teas. So he has me over for tea and has thousands of teas in there and kind of just educates me on different types of teas. And I was like, I think Darjeeling tea is supposed to be considered one of the sweeter teas. And, he was saying a sweeter drink, right?
Right.
And they add the hibiscus aspect, probably just makes it sound, more sweeter, I guess. I don't really know.
Fancy. Floral. To match the flour on the top.
That part. So, you guys might be wondering what it costs. Get to drink a nice ice cold water. It was super fire. Really enjoyed it. I felt extremely hydrated after the fact. We had a surprise guest this time through where I brought my friend with me because we were just coming from a networking event, and he happened to have some, how do you say it? Pommes frites?
Pommes
frites, which pretty much is just French fries. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? Apparently everyone else knows how to pronounce that but me, so y'all might already know what it is, but I will speak for Milad because I don't think I got a video of him talking about this, but the pommes frites might have been the best fries the both of us have ever tasted in our entire lives. Did you have it the first time you went there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I did.
so I'll let you talk about that shortly, but very, very well cooked, very like crunchy but soft. So in terms of texture and feeling, amazing. But what was even more amazing, how when you first take a first bite and it's just salty fry and you're like, oh, tasty. Mm-hmm. This one on every single crunch, like, I look like the Grinch right there.
How was that?
But anyway, again? I ain't gonna do it again. But what's it called? It was just getting like more and more lemony and like salty. And it was super tasty. So basically, as you continue to chew the fry, it continued to taste better. And they gave you 3 different types of dips, which I might have got on camera, that they're just fire. So highly suggest that if you do go there and you want a quick snack, that be the item that you select, because I've never had pommes frites that tasted as good as that. So I just wanted to speak on that for Milad, who I believe is unable to speak on it for himself. What would your thoughts be on the pommes frites when you had it the first time around? Because you've been there before today.
Yes, I've been there one time before, and they were good. They're like double. I want to say double blanched, but that's not right. They're double something. And then you have 3 different sauces. One was like a garlic aioli. One was another almost like not a ketchup, but like a fancy ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had
Like a what is it called? Barbecue honey mustard or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
something, yeah. And then they had another one, but they were really good. The sauces were very good. The fries were good by themselves, and they give you a very nice large portion.
Very great size portion. And then on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be something that we talk about at the end, like the last item we got. That really was the best thing I've ever had on earth. But before we do that, let's talk about what you ordered for yourself.
So I ordered the salmon plate, and I will be, I actually thought it was something different than what I actually got, so that was my fault. But it still was very good. It was more of, I would say it was kind of raw salmon. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a smoked salmon. And then it had this focaccia bread, and then there was some other things like some aged balsamic onions and sweet peppers and things like that. So
What type of bread?
focaccia,
I just wanted to confirm.
focaccia
What
manasha.
was the white stuff that was on the plate?
Let me look that up for you
Yeah, you should.
because
And while he's looking that up, ladies and gentlemen, mine's a really quick item that I got. I got the bruschetta. I do not know what type of cheese. Oh, nope. He already has it pulled up. Go ahead.
it was gravlax. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but salmon, aged balsamic onions, sweet peppers, ricotta, which is what the white stuff is,
Okay.
and then artisan house made focaccia.
Okay, perfect. So the ricotta is the only thing on that plate that looked good. As soon as that raw salmon came out there, I about threw his plate back at the server or waiter or wait. Yeah.
But it was mine.
Yeah, and it ain't even mine. But I was like, I felt bad for you because you even looked at it differently too. Now you
I
finished
was
the plate,
not expecting it. I did because
but
I like smoked salmon,
but
but
he looked at it like, He said, "Oh, it's already ready." That's what the first thing he said. Oh, mine's already ready. In other words, he was like, "Damn, wait, did y'all cook it?"
right, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
But it was so good.
I can't do raw salmon. On occasion, my lady will get the what's it called, lock on like a bagel or whatever, and I'll be eating it. And I'll eat it because your boy can always eat, but I'll just be like,
But you wouldn't even try the salmon because I even offered it to
he
you.
offered it, and I almost threw the plate again, but I restrained myself.
With the bread you ate.
And I sure did. And I wish I got his bread on my bruschetta plate. So I remember on the bruschetta plate, it had tomatoes. What type of cheese is this that has like cheese on the inside, but it's like a little bit thicker on the outside?
I don't know because I think you ordered that. I didn't.
You know what? You goddamn right. But I don't have the menu photo up, so I can't tell you exactly what's in mine. But really good cheese. The one that they cut into like 4 little things. It looks like a dumpling.
You're talking about like
cheese.
brie or
brie? There we go. Brie. Yes. Brie. Also, my crush freshman year of high school, Brie. All right, so tomatoes on top of the Brie with 7, which was another thing that threw me off. I don't like odd numbers. I like even numbers. So when I get like bread on my plate, I don't like 13 pieces of bread. I want 12. You know what I'm saying? And so I got 7 pieces on my plate, but I like 8 because that just makes more sense, personally, in my humble opinion. Now, I know that's a stupid thing, and I'm not going to like knock a rating off of Bijou for that, but I'm just saying it's a personal preference. Also, the bread was like a lot more crunchy than I like. I like soft bread that like you can kind of fold and maneuver and dip into the cheese and use more as like a dip or something to like gather up some food items. This was like hard and crunchy, similar to like a Dorito, but it was like a bread chip. I don't know. So I'm honestly gonna say I didn't really care for my bruschetta. Now I finished it all in 10 seconds. He even looked at me with like a weird look because he saw that my plate was empty. But I'm all about finishing things that were purchased for me. Shabbat. And so I would honestly say the brie was good, but the bread was not. If you want brie and bruschetta with like some decent bread, I got a better shout out for you guys. I would give it the meal itself. I'm not giving the rating to Bijou, but the meal itself, I'm giving a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
I know it's a low rating. I give it enough. I give it enough for satisfaction.
Right.
But not enough for like I really enjoyed this and want to buy this again.
Okay.
But the pommes frites, 13 out of 10. Mind you, I was snacking off my boy's plate, so I only had like 3 of the fries, but
they were more than 3.
Hey man, listen, they don't need to know that.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Anyways, what else did you happen to get? Now, what you're about to talk about next might be the best thing I've ever had in the world. You had your drink, you had your salmon plate, and you only have one other item. This one other item I talked about in every single workout I had this week. I talked about in every single F45 class I coached today and a few days ago. And man, just top tier, amazing. And Milad, who was my friend, the guest that came with us, also had the same thing to say because Steve was kind enough to cut a piece for the both of us on our way out. But
Yes.
What was this item, sir?
So, first of all, the fact that he never wants me to get dessert. And I was able to, and he was leaving, and I was not ready to go yet again. But he stuck around, and I went ahead and ordered my dessert. So I had ordered their carrot cake, which I think we said that it was a baked salad, is what we said,
That's
because
exactly what we said.
that's what made me feel better about ordering it in front of my trainer, because it had walnuts, it had carrots, it had one other thing. Oh, raisins.
Raisins.
So
Yes.
so we refer to it as a baked salad to make myself feel better. And so I got it, and this thing was like 10 stories tall.
Facts.
And you'll see a picture of it, and I mean it looked just as
Massive.
massive as it does in the picture. But it was very good, and I was a very nice person, and I shared my carrot cake with this one, even though he hardly ever wants me to get dessert, and then he just continued to want to eat it. See, it's him. But anyway, but it was very, very good. It was moist. It was like, because generally when you have a carrot cake that's like that big and that tall, they usually sacrifice the moisture, and it's usually incredibly dry. But it was different layers, and it was delicious. It was very good.
He described it better than I could. All I got to say is that is a 10 out of 10 dessert. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't often get dessert, but when I do, it's from Bijou. That was good.
No, it wasn't. Good. But anyway, but also the last time that I went there, they had this bread pudding. Now the bread pudding is even better than the carrot cake.
That's a strong statement.
I stand behind it.
We might have
stand behind it.
Producer, we might have to go to Bijou tonight. But anyways, back to
so it's even better than that. It's even better than the carrot cake. But I wanted to try something different, so I can be able to talk, because last time I went, I had the jerk pork.
Ooh.
And it was really good.
Ooh.
It was really good. So I should have stuck with that. But again, I wanted to try something different.
Yes. And, I always encourage, my friends to try new things. And so I'm happy he listened to me and listens to everything I say in the gym as well and follows orders like a good person.
That's because I have to.
That's a fact. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So we had drinks. We had pommes frites. We had brie cheese. Shout out brie, my crush freshman year. We had what else? What else? Salmon, raw salmon. We had cocktails. Milad had a cocktail. You'll see photos of that as well. I can't tell you anything about it because I don't even know what a cocktail is until today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for taste or waste. It's time for the rating.
But before that, so what do you think about service? Because we haven't talked about the service.
Oh, trust. The service was cool. Let me say that. I'm gonna say it's cool. We sat at the bar, so you're kind of in front of them the whole time. So They're kind of forced to check in with you every few seconds. Now, what I will say is they were all very kind gentlemen. Everyone was sweet. Everyone was kind. Everyone was open to being conversational. Me personally, I'm always saying random things to people to try to engage them in conversation.
Right.
And they were willing to converse with me. So, I would say the service was as good as it could have been. There's not much else they could have done better. I mean, they refilled my water when it needed to be refilled. They checked in every 5 minutes while we were waiting for this guy to come 30 minutes late to see if we were ready to order or if we wanted to get any appetizers or order. Service, I would give a 10 out of 10. My food item, I would give a 5 out of 10.
Yes.
The pommes frites, I'd give a 12 out of 10. The water, iced, always good. I didn't want to try anything on your plate, but the bread was top tier. So the focaccia was a 10 out of 10. And then the ambiance, I would say it would have been better if we came in later when it was packed because that adds to like the vibes of the spot.
Interesting.
When we came in there initially for the first 45 minutes, it was just us and like one other older couple, which kind of didn't give you the full vibe of what it feels like when it's crowded in there. So I feel like when people started chatting and people were in there and it was lively and the bartenders were moving around and interacting, laughs and stuff like that, and it started to get darker, I would say it's a way better place at night. when it's packed, and when it has like probably the disco balls going and stuff. And the bathroom, I took a video of the bathroom. Beautiful. You already know what I say. If the bathroom's fire, then everything else must be fire.
Which I did leave later, and it was packed by the time that I left, and it did have a different feel to it, which was actually really kind of cool.
I love it. I love it. What time is it?
What?
It's funny. Nobody understood what we were gonna do there. I thought everyone was gonna, all three of us at the same time, be like, taste your waste time, and it was gonna be like this whole cool, well produced show thing. But then it didn't happen. But you know, it's okay.
You didn't tell us, and then I didn't get a chance to go over my stuff, what I felt. It was all about you. Can I tell what I feel?
You ate more than I ate, sir.
So I should be the one that's really also giving ratings on the stuff that I ate. So for my drink, my midsummer drink that I had, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. It was very hard for me to give a 10 out of 10 over anything. The salmon plate, if I would have really thought about what I was ordering, it probably wouldn't have ordered it. But I still, for what it was, I would definitely give it a 7. I would give it a 7 because I did eat it, I did enjoy it, but it was only my fault because I didn't really know what I was ordering. The carrot cake, I would give a 10. I would definitely give a 10 because it was, or 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. The bread pudding, I give it 10.
That's crazy.
And then I actually had another drink after y'all left, and I actually give that drink a 10 because it was more like an old fashioned. It was the Bijou Nouveau.
You were trying to get drunk.
And so I give that a 10 too. So, and then
was that the sort of, it was like brown, and it was like but it came in one of the smaller cups, not the. Okay, I think Milagro got the same thing, and he really enjoyed that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he did get that. So I would definitely, and I actually like the service because after he left, you know, I was just there by myself, you know, like some old drunk on a stoop that had no friends, and they were actually talking to me and joking around with me and stuff like that. So it was nice because
he finally felt like he had friends.
All right, so let's just go to Taste Your Waste because I'm about done with you.
I cracks myself up. CRAXX. Ladies and gentlemen, Taste or Waste time. T or W. You guys have stayed with us for a full 30 minutes. You've stayed in tune. You've listened to us talk about the food. You've watched our faces. You've listened to his annoying voice. You guys have been amazing. I really appreciate you guys. So now it's our opportunity to let you know, should you go to this place and taste it, or should you get the hell out of there and waste it? All right, 3, 2, 1.
Taste!
Boom. Okay.